Hello again and thanks for joining. So today I've got two coaches to have a look at. They're both from Fleischmann. Their numbers are 5085 and 5086. So they're very similar in the catalogue range. I think there might just be some small detail on maybe the printing on these, but it'd be really interesting to have a look at them. They're old, I think Epoch 1 German coaches, and I really like that era of railways in Germany. The carriages always look really characterful, and I think these will be no exception. So these models I did get secondhand. You can see it does have some problems here on these boxes. There's some dirt up here, some more dirt here. I think that might be from an elastic band, maybe that's just aged over time. But overall, it's not too bad at all. These plastic boxes hold the models very securely, and inside you can see that it has some foam as well, which really supports the models as well. So these boxes take a lot of abuse, but they do protect the models inside very well. So I'm going to get these out and then we'll have a look at both of them. So here we have the coaches out of the box. We have 8056 at the front here, which seems to be a third class coach, and 8058 at the back, which seems to be a second class coach. And as I expected, very similar in design. It's maybe just the printing on them that's different, but we'll have a closer look. Let's start off with the third class coach, which is this one here, or 1980. I'm not quite sure. If you know, please put it in the comments below. I'd love to know. But what you can notice straight away is that there's a wealth of detail and character to both these coaches. As we start here at this end, the brakeman's cab here is glazed. It has a silver roof and it has these metal handrails, as well as these steps coming down, which are moulded in plastic. And as well as that, we have some detail moulded into the main piece of plastic as well. And even up here on the brakeman's cab window, you can see that it has a moulded bar going across. So it's a really nice moulding. It's a lot of detail already. As we start to look down the side of the coach, the decoration really stands out. We've got some printing down on the chassis as well as on the coach itself. You can see the third class there and some other numbers and words as well. The windows are nice. They're not flush fit, but they do have these surrounds on the doors, which make them look as though they've got wood surrounds, which is really nice. And this one here is blanked out. That might be because it's for a toilet or a guard, I'm not quite sure. But it is really an appealing design of coach, this one. In the centre of the coach is some more printing along with the destination board and the logo. I think that's Deutsche Reichsbahn and the running number of this carriage. You'll see as well that some of the glazing has been moulded as if the window's half open, like this one here on this door. And the frame goes around it as well, so it's really quite nice. As we move further down the coach, there's printing all the way down. And you can see that this changes at this point here to a white panel rather than a red panel. And then finally at this end of the coach, no brakeman's cab, but we do have steps going up to the roof and again some more moulded detail here. Up on the roof we have a silver moulding with all these little air vents moulded into it as well. There's a lot of them, a lot of chance for these to get broken off, but this one is faring well because none of them have actually broken off. There is a little bit of dirt up here, but that's to be expected of a model of this age. And one thing that's perhaps a compromise for the price point is that there's no glazing on the little windows on the roof there. But there is a lot of detail in the main moulding. You can see on these parts here, they even have little brackets on them. Looking down at the chassis, we have a running board going the whole length of the carriage and steps as well attached to it. These are very fine little brackets between the steps and the running board. That's been really nicely included in the moulding there. It's very fine and delicate. It could easily break, but it looks as though this one's faring not too bad at all. So looking further down at the chassis, underneath we have some good representation of the planking across the bottom of the carriage, and we have all the bracing with some rivet detail and pipe work and these tanks which are added on parts. We've also got this bracing bar here as well, which is very delicate and it's moulded in pliable plastic, which is good, so you can see that it moves a little bit there. So it can take a few knocks, which I think is just as well because they're so thin and fine. It even has here a little tensioner moulded into the plastic. So all the parts on this coach are really actually very well moulded. As we come to the bogie, there's more rivet detail there. Springs are nicely moulded and all the suspension parts. The brake blocks are even in line with the treads of the wheels, which is very nice. And the wheels are pretty well free rolling as well. Underneath the bogie you can see that it has the bracing moulded in there, and that's quite rare. You usually see just a blank piece there because you can't really see it from above. But it's nice that Fleischmann have included all the bracing of these bogies there. We've got couplings in NEM pockets and they cantilever as well to help this get round corners and stay coupled up, and they cantilever separate to the movement of the bogie as well. And then finally on the buffer beam we've got these buffers moulded into the main piece of plastic, and there's no other detail in the buffer beam there. And the couplings are typical Fleischmann ones on this, but like I said, it comes in NEM pockets so you can change those if you want. So that's the third class coach. It's really impressive. Let's have a look at the second class coach. So here we are with the second class coach. It's a very similar moulding to the third class. We have the brakeman's cab again, same handrails and steps going down, and the same detail moulded into the main body. Looking down the side of the coach, it's very similar in that we've got the same kind of doors, but the eagle-eyed among you will see that some of these windows are moulded in different positions than the third class, so that's really nice. Adds some variety to these coaches if you buy them both together. And then as we get to the centre of this coach, it's got some more details here printed on, and it's got a different running number. You'll see as well that there's a passenger on this one, and further down another passenger as well. I think these have been fitted by the previous owner, but it does prove that there is an interior there with some seating. It's not very easy to see because these windows are quite small, but there is a nice interior represented in both these two coaches. And as we move down to the end of the coach, it's very similar to the third class coach. It's just a difference with the windows being open or not. It does have this printing down here and the running board as well, the same as the third class. And at this end of the coach, it has the steps going up to the roof. And talking of the roof, this one is slightly different. It doesn't have quite so many little air vents on the roof, and it has these hatches with rivet detail moulded in instead. So it's good to see that there is a bit of variety between these two coaches, and you could run them together and they'd make a very convincing train. Underneath, there's a slightly different setup here as well. This is much longer tank than on the third class. Aside from that, we have the similar bracing and plank detail and brake gear as well. So it's similar, but there are differences. However, the bogies are exactly the same on both these coaches, as are the couplings as well, again with NEM pockets and the cantilever as well. So a very appealing coach, this one, and it would work very well with the third class coach too. But let's find out how much these coaches weigh. So the first one we looked at, the third class coach, weighs 115 grams. And the second class coach weighs 117 grams, but that might be because of the additional passengers in this coach. So overall, these two coaches from Fleischmann I think are really appealing, and they would look great together on a model railway being pulled by a period steam locomotive. I really like this era of German railways. I think the coaches have got a lot of character, and the colour schemes as well of the silver and the dark green and the black really works very well together. I think Fleischmann have done a really great job on modelling these coaches. They've got a wealth of detail in the moulding and also on the printing, and they're both very characterful and yet also have differences between them, which really adds to the appeal of these two coaches. Older Fleischmann stuff is starting to become a bit more difficult to get hold of these days, but it's still at a good price point, and I think these coaches would be a great bargain to be had if you see them. So I think if you see these, you should definitely add them to your collection if you're modelling German railways of this era. They're very appealing, they've got a lot of character, and they seem to be very good quality as well. The fact also that they've got NEM pockets allows you to put in different couplings if you need to. And as you've seen with the second class coach, the addition of passengers in here really brightens it up and adds something extra special. So let me know what you thought about my analysis in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel grow. I'll put both of these on the turntable so you can see all the way around. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See ya!